While the historical record often focuses on the Nile or the Tigris and Euphrates, a distinct, equally massive society was developing thousands of miles to the east at the same time. This civilization grew along the banks of the Yangtze and the Huang, the Yellow River, using the silty, fertile soil to sustain its earliest populations. By 7000 BCE, these river valleys supported scattered farming cultures. Over several millennia, these isolated groups began to unify, sharing agricultural techniques and building the first permanent settlements of the region. Geography provided the resources, but it didn't provide the organization. To understand how these river farmers transitioned into a sophisticated imperial power, we have to examine the specific artifacts they left behind. Centralized control in China first solidified under the kings of the Shang and Zhou dynasties, who established a clear social hierarchy that would last for centuries. Evidence of their political dominance is found in the weight and complexity of their bronze vessels, which were far more than simple household items. Producing objects like this required a massive logistical operation. The state managed thousands of laborers to mine copper and tin, transport ore across hundreds of miles, and operate high-temperature kilns for casting. Because this process was so resource-intensive, the kings strictly controlled it. They prioritized the creation of ornate ritual vessels for royal ceremonies over the production of tools or weapons for the general population. These bronzes serve as physical proof of a society where a small elite class could command the total labor and resources of an entire region to create symbols of their own status. Beyond political control, these early dynasties sought to align their rule with the spiritual world. They developed elaborate rituals to seek guidance from their ancestors and gods. Priests took the shoulder blades of oxen or tortoiseshells, carved them with specific questions, and applied intense heat until the material shattered. This is an oracle bone. By interpreting the jagged fire cracks, priests claimed to predict harvest success, rain timing, or military outcomes. The symbols etched alongside these cracks represent the earliest form of Chinese script, the ancestor of today's characters. While other writing systems emerged to track merchant debts or grain storage, the Chinese script began as a ritual tool used to interpret the will of the divine. As the empire grew, it developed a distinct cultural identity through the mastery of specific, highly valued materials. Jade was prized for its hardness and clarity, often carved into dragons to represent the unyielding power of the emperor and purity of his rule. At the same time, the state guarded the secret of silk production. This complex process involved cultivating silkworms and weaving their threads into fabrics lighter and more durable than any other ancient textile. By the Han Dynasty, the international demand for these specific goods led to the creation of the 4,000-mile Silk Road. This network linked the Chinese economy to the Mediterranean, transforming local luxury goods into the foundation of a global trade system. The ability to manage vast labor forces and massive wealth allowed the later dynasties to construct engineering projects on a scale previously unseen, such as the thousands of miles of fortifications along the northern frontiers. But physical walls were only one part of the equation. To maintain a unified state across such a diverse landscape, the empire had to standardize how it handled value and communication. This standardized approach led to the invention of paper currency. By printing value on a uniform material, the state could collect taxes and facilitate trade across the entire empire without the logistical burden of heavy metal coins. This system relied on the shared script developed on oracle bones and the centralized trust established by the early bronze-wielding kings. The integration of these three systems, the management of mass labor, a unifying written language, and a state-backed currency, created a structural foundation that allowed China to function as a continuous political entity for over 2,000